Greetings, this is Chloe of Chloe's Nook. I am so excited. So, I am probably going to be seeing Anthony in March because I have registered to attend the Northwest Tarot Symposium happening in March. And this is my first tarot event, uh, like a symposium, like a conference, that kind of thing. I haven't been able to go to any on the East Coast and not on the West Coast either. Either too far away, or not able to get um, sitting to help with my husband with the kids while I'm gone, that kind of thing. So I am so excited. There is a wonderful list of presenters and uh, uh, authors and tarot professionals that are going to be attending and sharing their wisdom and enthusiasm with us and everybody who's intending to go. So I have moved closer to this event. I am based in Washington, Olympia, Washington, and the event is happening in or near Portland, Oregon, and so I'm just a train ride away. A short train ride away, as a matter of fact. So I'm really looking forward to meeting Anthony. I'm sorry if I'm not saying your name right. It's that time of night. So the other reason I'm recording right now is that I wanted to do a group of the 31 Days of Tarot together because some of them just don't apply to me at this point, or I don't have anything to show. I think I'm going with day 4 through maybe day 8. Yeah, or day 7. Let's just get through it. Okay, so again, I'm just so excited. I'm so distracted, so I'll just try to keep as focused as I can. Okay. Well, first off, I didn't, excuse me, I didn't buy any tarot books in 2016. I checked out a few from my local library, but I'm not sure they were printed this year. One was tarot, working with tarot and Lenormand and or cartomancy systems together. And then another one, I believe I read something called like the Psychic Tarot Professional or something like that, but it was more like a kind of like a reading a day in the life of a psychic tarot reader. I can't remember the title right now, but I didn't buy any, and I know one of them wasn't printed this year. So moving on, the next one on my list, I don't really feel that there was a card that stalked me in 2016, unless you want to change that to a kind of part of day 6. There was a deck and a card in that deck. So what happened was the magician in both my Shadowscapes and the Circle of Life Tarot. In the Circle of Life Tarot, the card was rumpled and in such a state that I could kind of use it, but it was not good. The lady who sold me the deck contacted the company to get me a replacement card. And so it took a half a second there. At least I had the card, so I could start using it, but I mostly used it privately and only took it out for 1 or 2 events where I was just really wanting to work with it, but I knew I probably wasn't going to do readings with it. And then with the Shadowscapes, the Magician card wasn't even in there. It was like it was missing. So it was kind of funny. And that leads me, so if we were talking about stalking in the sense that something was trying to get into my sphere of things, then this might apply. So day 6, it says the deck you finally crossed off your wish list in 2016. Well, Shadowscapes and the Circle of Life Tarot were on, like I was kind of watching, waiting for the Circle of Life to be reprinted because they were changing the border, and I already talked a little bit about that in the top 5 tarot decks for 2016. Uh, so I was really happy to get that one. And then Shadowscapes, it was a little bit different. I wanted the deck, but I wanted to just like get the deck with the small book and then buy the app instead of getting the big manual. And all I could keep, like, I kept seeing the pictures. I had people bringing it up, and I got to admire a friend's several times. Not just hers, but a few other people had it as well. And I kept going, there's something there. At first, I thought, oh, it's not quite my thing because I still was just barely starting to get interested in tarot again. I had just gotten the the magical cats, and it was pretty much, I was pretty satisfied with her, and so yeah, I didn't really want to shake that up. But then finally, I was like, no, I really would like to get it, and so yeah, the Shadowscapes finally gave in, bought the kit, and because the store I prefer to buy from couldn't. It was on back order, just the little deck with the white book. And the app is wonderful. So I ended up getting the app and the whole kit, and so I'm completely covered for Shadowscapes, except that I had to wait a very long time to get that missing magician card. So yeah, if anybody was stalking me, it was a deck rather than a card. So I also, for day 7, I did pull a card. Now I did try to pick a card from my cat tarot, my magical cat tarot. Nothing really stood out on there. I mean, I'm sure there's some that could represent the year, but what I kept getting drawn to my Oracle of the Shapeshifters. So I ended up pulling 1 or 2 cards from here, and I know it's supposed to be one card to sum up, but and it mostly is. And this is kind of ironic too, because once you see the cards, one, we have 2 ferrets, and they're very cute and rambunctious little critters, and very adorable. And a few of the cards in the Oracle of the Shapeshifters are ferrets. And the one that most pulled me as I was thinking about summing up 2016 is the Delicate Fairy and Her Ferrets. And what it says is, change is natural, good, and yes, it can hurt. Well, this last year, our family, my husband tried really hard. We had to possibly move out of state to the West Coast. And since I mentioned it, yes, we did finally do it, but it just didn't seem like it was going to happen. Applied several times to different jobs, and we even came out this way 2 or 3 times on many vacations to check out the areas to see where we might want to apply for work, or what area we might like to live in, and it just wasn't coming through. Got some nibbles on jobs, and then they just were like, no, we're not hiring right now, but thank you for applying, that kind of thing. It was very frustrating. And on top of that, there had been some challenges with the kids and their lives. And yeah, and I had had some growth and responsibility within my pagan community, taking on clergy services and other responsibilities. Yeah, it was a very interesting year. So change is natural and it is good, and yes, it can sometimes hurt. Now, when we didn't think it was going to happen, I mean, we were really putting energy into the possible move and this type of shift, and we finally thought, well, okay, this isn't going to happen. Let's just go ahead, settle in, get the kids going in school, and yeah, we'll try again next spring or towards the end of the year, school year, and see what we can drum up then. And all of a sudden, there was multiple offers and some other things happening, and we had to make a quick move. I had under a very short time to look for a house. And yeah, it was this card represents what we went through a good portion of the year. So yeah, I really feel like this is what we experienced. Now, the second half of what we said, especially when we kind of gave up a little bit and we thought it just wasn't going to happen, this card, another ferret card, ironically, but this card, number 34, the first one was 24, the Delicate Fairies and Her Ferrets. All right. The other card is a twist in the tail, the unexpected, a change you did not see coming. Like I said, we had kind of given up for the year and was trying to settle in and focus on other priorities until maybe the spring, following spring. And suddenly there were job offers, and it was more about figuring out which job to take and how are we going to make this move and can we make this work. Yeah, so unexpectedly, all the energy that we had been putting out there finally took root. And yeah, so mostly this card I feel is the energy 2016 with a dab and or a kick of twist in the tail. So Delicate Fairy and Her Ferrets and Twist in the Tail, and they just both happen to have ferrets or weasels. Okay, so yeah, and then yeah, I think I'll end there with the sum up. And I wish you all a good evening, and thank you for taking the time to watch the video. I'll enjoy doing the next few.